To have aspirations as a Muslim, it is part of the natural disposition of a believer, that a believer strives with regard to all of his affairs to attain those matters which is beneficial for him, beneficial with him with regards to his worldly life, and beneficial with regard to his affairs of his hereafter. Ibad Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in his book, and he says, وَلَا تَجْعَلِ الدُّنْيَا أَكْبَرَ هَمِّنَا وَلَا مَبْلَغَ عِلْمِنَا. Or rather, the Prophet ﷺ tells us in the hadith narrated in At-Tirmidhi, and it's a supplication which the Prophet ﷺ often used to make, Allahumma la taj'al ad-dunya akbara hammina wa la mablagha ilmina. He used to say in his supplications, oh Allah, do not make this worldly life my highest of aspirations, and nor make it the extent of my knowledge. And this shows us that the believer, he strives to attain those matters which is beneficial for him in his worldly life, but ultimately he uses these means with regards to the hereafter. عباد الله تجمع همتي على المطلوب بالتفكر ثلاثة أمور. That attaining high aspirations and being eager and diligent with regards to attaining matters which is beneficial, it is acquired by way of three means. أولها الحرص على ما ينفع، فمتى وفق العبد إلى ما ينفعه حرص عليه. And the first of these principles, it is to be eager and diligent with regards to acquiring those matters which is beneficial. And here we have to stop and reflect that whatever we strive for, it must be something which is beneficial. Something which benefits us in our worldly life, firstly, and secondly, it must be an affair that will not harm us in the hereafter. So many people desire wealth, but the way they attain this wealth, sometimes it will harm the hereafter. But no matter what the means is, they will take this means to acquire wealth. So we need to be eager and diligent with regard to those matters which benefit us. And the greatest matters which benefit us, it is matters of the akhirah. فَمَتَى وُفِقَ الْعَبْدُ إِلَى مَا يَنْفَعُهُ حَرَصَ عَلَيْهِ. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the abd, his servant and his worshipper, the divine tawfiq to acquire that which is good, the servant acquires that. ثانيها, the second principle with regards to attaining beneficial things is al-isti'anatu billahi azza wa jal fi tahsilihi. That when we set out to attain any beneficial matter, there is no way for us to attain this beneficial matter except by seeking the divine aid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. That we seek the aid of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with regards to attaining this matter. And this is the Muslim self-confidence model. It is not based upon the nafs. It is not based upon your own ability, your own intellectual capacity, your own physical ability, but rather the Muslim confidence model, it is based upon thiqa billah. It is based upon reliance upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Allah azza wa jal is the one who has given us our intellectual capacities. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who has given us our physical abilities. And therefore we say, as the Prophet ﷺ taught us, a treasure from amongst the treasures of Jannah is la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And this is the motto of a believer. That there is no ability to move and there is no power except with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so we seek the help of Allah azza wa jal. As the poet said, إِذَا لَمْ يَكُنْ عَوْنٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ لِلْفَتَىٰ فَأَوَّلُ مَا يَجْنِي عَلَيْهِ اجْتِهَادُهُ. The poet said that if there is no aid and assistance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, لِلْفَتَىٰ, for a young man, فَأَوَّلُ مَا يَجْنِي عَلَيْهِ اجْتِهَادُهُ, then the first thing that will transgress against him, it is his own hard work. Because the person did not seek the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rather, he depended upon his own abilities. ثالثها, the third principle with regards to attaining matters which is beneficial is عدم العجز عن بلوغ البغية منه. Is not being helpless with regards to attaining the desired goal. Not being lazy, taking the prescribed means and placing your trust upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And not fading reliance. Not having what the scholars refer to as tawakkul. Not taking the means and then relying upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rather, Islam, the Quran and the Sunnah, it encourages us to exhaust all of the means we have at our disposal, and then we place our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the one who adopted this approach, he is a mutawakkil. He is the one who truly places his trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the abd of Allah azza wa jal who will find the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Allah azza wa jal says, وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. That whomsoever relies solely upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, adopting this approach which we have mentioned, فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. You will find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala suffices him with regards to all of his needs. And these three principles, ibadallah, it has been gathered in a hadith, a very, very well-known hadith, which is reported in Sahih Muslim, on the authority of Abu Hurairah, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, who said, ihris ala ma yanfa'uk, wasta'in billah, wa la ta'jiz. The Prophet ﷺ said, be eager and be diligent with regards to those matters which benefit you. And this is with regards to the worldly life and with regards to the hereafter. That a believer is diligent and is eager with regards to attaining beneficial things for himself. And then the Prophet ﷺ says, وَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ, and seek the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Implore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and seek help from Allah azza wa jal alone. وَلَا تَعْجِزْ, and do not be lazy in your approach. Do not be lazy in your approach. Strive, work hard, plan and plot to attain those matters which is beneficial to you. And then the Prophet ﷺ, he tells us, وَإِنْ أَصَابَكَ شَيْءٌ فَلَا تَقُلْ لَوْ أَنِّي فَعَلْتُ كَذَا أو كذا لكن قل قدر الله وما شاء فعل. So even if you adopt this approach, you are eager and diligent with regards to those matters which are beneficial to you, and you seek the help of Allah, and you take the means, sometimes things will not go the way we planned. Sometimes we will fail. Sometimes we will lose. And this is the reality of the dunya. But the Prophet said, ﷺ, and if you are afflicted with something, فَلَا تَقُلْ, then don't say, لَوْ أَنِّي فَعَلْتُ كَذَا أو كَذَا. Don't say, if only I had done such or such. Meaning, after this calamity hits you, and you face some type of loss with regards to yourself, or your family, or your business, don't say, walau. If only I had done such and such, then this would never have occurred. But rather, the Prophet also teaches us the believer's approach. And he says, rather say, قَدَّرَ اللَّهُ وَمَا شَاءَ فَعَلَ. Rather say, this is what Allah Azza wa Jal has decreed, and He does as He wishes. For the Prophet ﷺ tells us, once you say low, you open up the door for shaitan. And this usually leads a person to sadness and depression. Because this matter, it has transpired. It is something which has occurred in the past. And there is no way for you to go back and to change it. And so people grieve and they have sorrow over matters which occurred in the past that they cannot change. If we have this approach, then our hearts are settled and our minds are free from overthinking. قدر الله وما شاء فعل. Ibad Allah, having high aspirations is something that each and every single one of us must strive for. وقال الجنيد رحمه الله تعالى: ما طلب أحد شيئا بجد وصدق إلا ناله فإن لم ينله كله نال بعضه. He said that no person ever sought out to acquire and attain something beneficial, and he had this approach, he exerted himself, and he was truthful with regards to what he wanted to attain, illa nala, except that he will attain it. And he said if he had this approach of striving and truthfulness with regards to what he wanted to attain, فَإِن لَمْ يَنَلْهُ كُلَّهُ نَالَ بَعْضَهُ. If he doesn't attain everything what he set out for, he attains some form of it. And this shows us the thamara, the fruit of good work and striving and being diligent and seeking the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The great scholar Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala said in his kitab Al-Fawaid: إِذَا طَلَعَ نَجْمُ الْهِمَّةِ فِي ظَلَامِ اللَّيْلِ الْبَطَالَةِ رَدِفَهُ قَمْرُ الْعَزِيمَةِ أَشْرَقَتِ الْأَرْضُ بِنُورِ رَبِّهَا. Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah ta'ala said, if the star of aspiration rises in the darkness of the night's idleness, رَدِفَهُ قَمْرُ الْعَزِيمَةِ, it is followed up by the moon of resoluteness. And when this occurs, أَشْرَقَتِ الْأَرْضُ بِنُورِ رَبِّهَا. When this occurs, the earth of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes filled up with the light of Allah Azza wa Jal. Ibad Allah, that which causes us to aspire and strive for high aspirations with regards to our worldly life and with regards to the matter of the hereafter, it is reflecting over the condition of the people who came before us. And this is recognizing the status of the Salaf and looking how diligent they were with regards to seeking knowledge and how they strove to acquire knowledge. For up until this very day, because of their sincerity and because of their high aspirations and their truthfulness with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their names have been carved in the annals of history. And for this reason, Ali ibn Abi Talib said, فَعِشْ بِإِلْمٍ وَلَا تَبْغِي لَهُ بَدَلًا النَّاسُ مَوْتًا وَأَهْلُ الْعِلْمِ أَحْيَاءً. He said, live for knowledge and seek no compensation for it. النَّاسُ مَوْتًا وَأَهْلُ الْعِلْمِ أَحْيَاءً. The people have died, but the people of knowledge, they are still alive. And how they are alive? They are alive by the mention of their names. They have many great companions and scholars from among the Tabi'in and the Atba'i Tabi'in and scholars from throughout the history of Islam, that when we mention their names, we say Rahimahullah Ta'ala. And many of them have passed on ages ago. But today, their good mention is still mentioned in our history. Abu Abdullah Ahmad ibn Hanbal, whilst he was a young boy, and sometimes he wanted to leave his home in the early morning to seek knowledge, and he would want to leave his home before Fajr, and he would want to attend and frequent the circles of the scholars. فَتَأْخُذُهُ أُمُّهُ بِثِيَابِهِ وَتَقُولُ رَحْمَةً بِهِ حَتَّى يُؤَذِّنَ النَّاسَ أَوْ يُصْبِحُوا. And then his mother, out of showing mercy towards him, would take him by his throat and say, you will not leave this house up until the adhan for Fajr is rendered or up until the people wake up. And this was the approach of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, the Imam of Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah in his time when he was a young boy, perhaps 6, 7 or 8. And for this reason, he is who he is, because he had this high aspiration with regards to seeking knowledge, and he was truthful with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his pursuit of this knowledge. Another great story we can narrate is the story of Khatib al-Baghdadi, the famous compendium of Imam al-Bukhari. He read it in 3 majalis, in 3 sittings. The first 2 of these sittings, it took place from the time of Maghrib up until Fajr. And the third majlis, it took place from the early part of the morning up until Maghrib, and he completed the reading of the book up until Fajr of the next morning. And this shows us the aspiration of the scholars of the past. About this, Imam al-Dhahabi rahimahullah ta'ala said, وَهَذَا شَيْءٌ لَا أَعْلَمُ أَحَدًا فِي زَمَانِنَا يَسْتَطِيعُهُ. Imam al-Dhahabi is like a 7th century scholar. He said, and this is something, لَا أَعْلَمُ أَحَدًا فِي زَمَانِنَا يَسْتَطِيعُهُ. This is something which I don't anticipate to expect any person to do in our times. And Imam al-Dhahabi himself is a great scholar of this ummah. So we ask the question, where is our aspiration? Has perhaps completed a study of the compilation of Imam al-Nawawi, known as the 40 Ahadith. And some of us, Wallahu Musta'an, we don't even know what the 40 Ahadith is. How many great scholars are? Ibad Allah, another great story we can narrate is the story of Muhammad ibn at-Taban. And when he began studying, his mother used to show mercy to him, because he would read in the night, and he would read in the darkness of the night. And we know that reading in the darkness is a cause why people become blind. And for this reason, we'll find that many of our scholars and the scholars that we've interacted with in Medina and around Saudi Arabia, they are blind. So what is the reason for this? It's because they used to read in the darkness of the night. And so his mother used to show mercy to him, and she didn't want him to read in the evening. And so she would place a very, very heavy vessel upon the lamp that he would use to read. And then Muhammad ibn Taban, he would feign as if he was tired. He would act as if he was tired. And once his mother would lie and go rest, he would take out the misbah, he would take out the lamp, and he would continue studying. And this shows us the high aspiration of these great scholars. Ibad Allah, فَكُنْ رَجُلًا رِجْلُهُ عَلَى الثَّرَى ثَابِتًا وهامة همته فوق الثريا السامقة ولا تكن شاب البدن أشيب الهمة فإن همة الصادق لا تشيب. أقول هذا القول وأستغفر الله لي ولكم من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة على من لا نبي بعده وبعد. عباد الله، قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: اتق الله حيثما كنت وأتبع سيئة الحسنة تمحها وخالق الناس بخلق حسن. رواه الترمذي. The Prophet ﷺ exhorts us and advises us, and he says, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wherever you may be, and follow up an evil deed with a good deed, for it will expiate it, and interact with people in a goodly manner. And this hadith is found in At-Tirmidhi. Ibad Allah, فَكُنْ رَجُلًا رِجْلُهُ عَلَى الثَّرَى ثَابِتًا وَهَامَةُ هِمَّتُهُ فَوْقَ الثُّرْيَا السَّامِقَةِ وَلَا تَكُنْ شَابَ الْبَدَنِ أَشْيَبَ الْهِمَّةِ فَإِنَّ هِمَّةَ الصَّادِقِ لَا تَشِيبُ. Servants of Allah, be a man whose feet is firmly upon the ground, which reaches the stars. وَلَا تَكُنْ شَابَ الْبَدَنِ أَشْيَبَ الْهِمَّةِ. And do not be a young person. Do not be in terms of your physical nature, but your aspirations is that of the old. فَإِنَّ هِمَّةَ الصَّادِقِ لَا تَشِيبُ. For the aspiration of the truthful one it never ever becomes old. Because the aspiration of the believer is always to strive to achieve the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to seek redemption with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his sins, and to attain the pleasure of Allah azza wa jal. عباد الله، كان أبو الوفاء بن عقيل أحد أذكياء العالم من فقهاء الحنابلة ينشد وهو 80. One of the great scholars of the Hanbali madhab, Abu al-Wafa ibn Aqil, one of the intelligentsia of his age. He was a genius. He wrote the following lines of poetry that we need to reflect over. He said, ما شاب عزمي ولا حزمي ولا خلقي ولا ولائي ولا ديني ولا كرمي وإنما اعتاد شعري غير صبغته والشيب في الشعر غير شيب في الهمم. He said, ما شاب عزمي ولا حزمي. He says that my determination has not become old. He says my resoluteness has not become old. He says my character, my mannerisms has not become old. And he says my allegiance has not become old. He says my religion has not become old, nor my nobility has become old. But he says, وَإِنَّمَا اعْتَادُ شَعْرِ غَيْرَ صِبْغَتِي. He says, rather my hair has become grey when I don't dye it. And then he closes and he says, وَالشِّيبُ فِي الشَّعْرِ غَيْرُ شِيبُ فِي الْهِمَمِ. He says that greyness in hair, it is not oldness in aspiration. And so this shows us that no matter where we are in our journey, it is never too late. Whether it comes with regards to our worldly life or matters of the year after. But the important thing is that we start and that we are truthful with regards to those matters that we set out to attain, and that we seek the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We will surely find Allah azza wa jal at our aid. We end upon this note, وَهَذَا وَصَلُّ رَحِمَكُمُ اللَّهُ عَلَى خَيْرِ الْبَرِيَّةِ وَأَزْكَى الْبَشَرِيَّةِ صَاحِبُ الْحَوْلِ وَالشَّفَاءَةِ فَقَدْ أَمَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ بِأَمْرٍ بدأ فيه بنفسه وثنى بملائكة القدس مسبحة وثلث بكم أيها المؤمنون. قال الله عز وجل يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل وسلم وزد وبارك على عبدك ورسولك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. وارض اللهم عن خلفاء الأربعة أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي وعن سائر الصحابة نبيك أجمعين وأن معهم بعفوك وجودك يا أكرم الأكرمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين واخذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر أعداءك أعداء الدين يا القوي يا العزيز. اللهم انصر من نصر دينك وكتابك وسنة نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم كن لهم ناصرا ومعينا وحافظا ومؤيدا. اللهم عليك بأعداء الدين فإنهم لا يعجزونك. اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها يا أرحم الراحمين. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين وجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. عباد الله رحمكم الله وأقيموا الصلاة.